Alright guys, welcome back to Valorant News. Big updates today from around the Valorant world, including the leaked team from Cloud9 seemingly getting confirmed by Riot's database over the last few hours. Ye is gone, Vanity is gone, Zelsis, Leaf and Dephh remain, with two new players joining the team that seemingly have been now leaked by Riot Games before it's been confirmed officially by Cloud9. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, got to mention the VCT Pacific underway today, slightly earlier, of course, than what we're seeing in the other regions, especially for the Americas, starting, I believe, on April the 1st, coming relatively soon after a lot of these challenger situations conclude. But we'll dive into that in a few minutes' time. But this is the VCT Pacific. Lots of positive news about this, actually, from Global Esports. Aaron here, of course, formerly of XSET last season, was talking about how good everything is at the VCT Pacific. This is kind of contrary to a lot of the discussions over the last couple of seasons around the setups the pro players are given. But at the stage, the practice rooms, 360 Hz monitors, everything is optimized for the players. Some of the best I've ever seen. Super grateful to be a part of this new wave of Valorant esports. So really cool stuff. Happy to see, because we know that previously at some of these events there's been talks about the monitors and the PCs that the pros are playing on not being particularly good. The coaches being stuck in rooms like, you know, down in the basement when the pros are playing on the stage. So, you know, it seems like those issues are resolved and it's a really good setup here these players can enjoy. Buzz, though, for some reason had a personal issue and was not able to attend today's game, so Foxy is coming in instead of Foxy9 is coming in instead of Buzz, and these are the games that are ongoing. So this game is still ongoing as I'm recording the video, but you know, tomorrow I'll talk about the results and all that stuff. But I wanted to mention here specifically really the new UI, or just the new graphics package, right, that Valorant has come up with. Now, whether this will be replicated across the other regions as well, I don't exactly know, but this is what it looks like for you guys on the, just to make sure it kind of fully fits on the screen. So this is what it looks like, the new UI package that they've come up with. Part of it's a kind of clean, the top of the screen is kind of clean, but I will say that like every time you see a graphics overhaul in like any esports, it almost feels like they managed to make it worse in some ways. Now, in some ways this looks kind of nice and cleaner, but in other ways I think it's just straight up inferior, to be honest. This is the comparison here between old and new. So this is new, of course, on the left hand side. These are the old setups on the right hand side for like last year's version, let's say, in the most recent tournament we played. Now for, it seems, for the new season, okay, we have the lock-in event, but since then they've overhauled the graphics. Maybe this is just in you know, the APAC region or Pacific they're going for this, but still, left is kind of nice, right? I mean, we've got this nice little green bar, obviously the red bar on the other side, but it's the contrast to me that's always the key here, right? The contrast between the player names and the health and the background is always so crucial. On the right hand side, you've got Chronicle, Durka. You can see the names very clearly, you can see the health and the armor very clearly. They've even made the font slightly less easy to see on the left hand side here. The change when armor is 0 to have no outline though is pretty good, so you can clearly see that it's just the health they've got remaining and there's no armor left, which is a good change. But I do think that, okay, on this screen it doesn't look too bad, right? You can clearly see the names on the left, clearly see the names on the right, but I think when you look at it from this perspective, you start to see where the contrast is, you know, becomes more of a challenge. Like on the right hand side here, Stacks, for example, the name is written in white, so you've got this kind of not particularly contrasted reddish background, and then you've got like a green thing behind it, like depending on what the background is at the time, and also 10 on the left hand side, similar story. Like the contrast isn't there as much, and you can't see so easily at a glance what's going on, just because the contrast between the player names in white and the background that used to be kind of a grey and now is a green or a red is not so easy to see. So just one observation there. I'm sure they can fix it over time, but yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting to note as well. Also some drama with Loud. They of course are trying to move to the USA, right? They're going to be playing it very shortly indeed out of Los Angeles at their venues. Now it seems like they were partnering up with a North American organization. This is not a North American franchise organization. I don't know if this is a tier 2 team or just like an organization of any sort trying to sort them out something, but yeah, they apparently have cancelled the team's accommodations. The office was going to be made available by the organization who are helping out with the house, but they cancelled everything once they arrived in the US. So yeah, Sadak and the guys are now, I guess, moving out there. They've got their visas sorted and everything to actually play, but now their accommodation, their team set up locally to the venue is clearly going to be gone for now. So they're going to have to find some alternative, which is far from ideal, right? Because you're going to have to move from another country over to California to live locally to the facility they're playing out of, and you've got to have a good facility yourself. A lot of the other teams that are local already, such as, you know, Sentinels and co, they're already going to have their setups locally, and Loud around, not many days at all from starting to play their tournaments or starting to play their matches, are in a bit of a predicament here. So yeah, very unfortunate exactly what's happened there. Hopefully they can get it resolved very shortly indeed. Let's talk Cloud9 then, right? So Ye is obviously very much out of things right now. He's just tweeted philosophical tweets over the last couple of days, so he's obviously not there anymore. But confirmation, it seems, from the player database or the contract database that Jake and Rooney have been signed. So Cupid is now indeed going to be their substitute, it seems. Of course, they got rid of Blackheart, I believe his name was, just the other day. But Leaf, Zeppa, Zelsit, Jake and Rooney, right? So Wayne Rooney obviously coming in, and I'm just kidding again on this one, is coming in as their IGL, right? And Jake also, I believe, is going to be their duelist. So it's kind of a funny one to me that they talk all this about the role issues they had, but they dropped their IGL for a new IGL and they dropped their duelist for a new duelist. So I don't know too much about Jake, especially when he's been around for some time and has had some success and some dramas with certain players over the last year or so. But yeah, this is going to be their roster. Obviously, on paper, massive downgrade theoretically from the caliber of the players they previously had, but you can understand why. The money reasons, other factors they might be going for this. Whether this team is significantly worse, it probably is in the short term, but if this team clicks and they can work it out, maybe it won't be too bad. They did have a great result with their previous roster, of course, up against PaperX at the lock-in event. I don't expect this version of the team to be anywhere as good, to be honest, as that team is, but I will see. There's a lot of optimism around Jake, especially whether he can become particularly good, but yeah, he's not quite going to be Ye. So this is pretty much leaked last night. There's a database that is accessible where you can see all the contracts that have been signed up until which year they've been signed until, and clearly this was reflected on the Riot Games database prior to Cloud9 actually confirming what their team is. So it's basically now been confirmed, but not exactly a massive surprise to many of the community. There was also some drama going on yesterday because Scream, of course, got access to Counter-Strike 2 and played a little bit of deathmatch last night and thought, you know what, I've had enough of this. I need to make sure that I'm not enjoying it too much and go back to Valorant so I don't mess up my kind of mechanics and stuff like this. But there were some rumors going around that Riot supposedly are making franchise players sign a contract where they can't stream other games like Counter-Strike. Now, there was some drama actually in the Call of Duty scene about this a while ago, where OpTic Scump, and even if you guys don't follow competitive COD, you'll probably have heard of Scump at some point or another. He was, I believe he did a sponsored stream of like Raid Shadow Legends or something, and the CDL fined him like thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars for doing this, for playing another game. Now, I believe the issue is, if you play another game and get paid for it, that's when these organizations that run the franchises aren't so happy. And it might be the same story here for Riot, but indeed they can't accept paid endorsements or ads to stream a game. So I think that's the point here, that Valorant players can stream anything they like or Counter-Strike, but if they were getting paid by Valve to play Counter-Strike, then they can't. So I think it's probably the same thing that Scump got done for there with the Raid Shadow Legends thing, that he got paid to play a game and therefore they fined him for some reason. I don't really know why that's needed. He wasn't happy about it, of course, at the time, but you know, it doesn't seem like this is going to be an issue for Scream to be playing Counter-Strike, but Riot will be clamping down in some way or another on certain sponsored streamers that might be done by their pro players. Let's talk then about the Challengers World last night. There were some crazy matches here, and the results were as expected, but the manner of the results were certainly not. So Moist Moguls versus M80 was a fantastic series. This could have been a 2-0 for M80. It could certainly have been a 2-0 for Moist Moguls though. They won game 1, really close fought affair, and then game 2 they were up 7-4 here at a time, and it was looking pretty good for Moist Moguls. Like, M80 barely lose rounds to anyone, and they usually take series they're expected to win very comfortably. And Moist Moguls played really well here. M80, okay, a bit sloppy, but yeah, wow, what a team, honestly, both of these teams are, and it's just great to see the level of competition there is, because to me, M80 are one of the clear favourites to take the W in Ascension and qualify all the way up to the professional scene, and the fact that they're getting pushed this hard by a team like Moist Moguls is just great to see. It went game 3, though. In the end, it was Moist Moguls that went down in a 13-9 decider. Xander says, trolled the first map, happy with how we played the next 2. So M80 still one of the teams to beat, but what a great result. And I thought it was pretty funny, actually, that Koala Noob had Koala younger sisters, Koala Natty, Koala Mama, all in the chat here, giving him maximal possible support, and it seemed to work out in the end. They won the series. Koala Noob top franked. Taven was 13-9 for Moist Moguls. Pearl was 13-10 the other way, despite a great start. Actually, yeah, it was 8-4 at the half, but M80 turned up when it mattered, and then Ascent was 13-9. So great series, really cool to see, but yeah, they will go down to the losers bracket. The other match, though, was equally interesting, and if not even better, was Oxygen versus the Guard. Again, a similar story here. Oxygen did such a great job. They went down map 1 though, but they somehow went huge on the Haven, went all the way to overtime here. They ended up taking this one 40. I mean, this crazy clutch here from Verno to get his 1v2 to win it 14-12, take it to a map 3 decider. But in the end, the Guard just too strong if this wants to late. They get the victory in the end here on Lotus, and the Guard progress. But wow, covered a great series last night. Awesome to see the level of competition here between these caliber of teams, because I did not really expect that. I mean, Verno, what a player this guy is, by the way, but I didn't really expect that Moist Moguls and Oxygen respectively would put up that much of a fight. But to take both these series to game 3, Lotus was 13-10, Haven we just saw was that crazy 14-12, and game 1, okay, was 13-7, more comfortable for the Guard, but still, great set of series. And yes, it does set up the expected M80 the Guard upper final, but the manner in which it occurred was crazy stuff. Now, we've got a few days to wait now until March 28th, where the matches resume, and then everything concludes on the 31st for the grand finals, and then basically the next day is when the actual Tier 1 VCT Americas begins. So very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
VALORANT 1. Wait, what the f? This guy just keeps using my face. Am I even in these videos? He doesn't diss you? Oh, okay. He's chilling. He's on my face all he wants. Maybe get a smile on there though. Like, hey, like. That's cool then. If you clickbait and like talk shit about me like every YouTube channel does, that's kind of annoying. I swear, like, if someone like, man, I just like, I'm not doing anything. Please.